I realized that literally in every single one of my videos, I start with okay. And so even just now, I had to restrict myself from actually saying okay and try and start it differently. I don't know. I feel like I should have a way to introduce myself to say hello, like maybe like a hey or a welcome back, something like that. Just something to like invite whoever's watching like back into it, like rather than just okay, okay, okay. But maybe I incorporate them. Okay, welcome back. Maybe something like that. Anyway, that was just like a random thought that I had, a random thing that I realized that I did. I thought it was funny, like just rewatching the videos and seeing that. So today's day 4, and it is different location, as you can probably tell. I'm currently with a friend right now, and it's very late, and so I was like, oh, okay. I suddenly felt myself like I was like, okay, I might as well record this before I don't get the opportunity to. And when I get back to my room, it'll probably be pretty late, so I'm just gonna record it here. Yeah, yeah, today has been the final day of exams, the final day of doing things at MIT, things like MIT things are done. I am so happy. The only thing I have to do is clean out, which honestly might be an experience because I need to get that done by tomorrow. But that's really the only thing. All I have to do is clean out and I'm done. I'm done with MIT. It's been a beautiful semester, a very adventurous one, like gospel choir, African Student Association, ASA. There's been a lot that's been going on, but it has been tiring, especially towards the end, and especially to just in terms of keeping track of everything going on. It's been difficult, and yeah, it's actually parts of something that I want to talk about today. So I kind of thought about it, like how exactly do I want to go about these things? I rewatched my video on the good habits and everything of journaling. I'm not entirely sure I want to do it that way because it felt very forced to try and do it in that particular shape. And I think also you could perceive it in the way that I gave it versus like the other days where, or especially the first day was very much just flowing. I was just talking based on what I had on my mind and everything. The second day was a bit more like had to be a bit more intentional about it. The third day yesterday, it was I felt, at least personally, when I was speaking, it felt like there was a lot of friction. I don't, maybe like you wouldn't hear as much when I'm talking, but there were a lot of thoughts going on in my head before I said things, and I had to kind of like process a lot of things as I was talking. And so I think instead, today at least, I want to try talking about something that's happened and kind of focusing on that as like a main topic that I'm talking about. But one thing in particular that happened today. So I had two finals today. It was back to back. It was a lot, honestly. The first final went all right. I definitely could have studied for it more. It was computer vision. And I could have taken that class a bit more seriously, studied it more. I think I would have gotten a lot out of it. The second class was design and analysis of algorithms, 6, 12, 20, one of the hardest classes at MIT, and I'm not even like trying to over dramatize or exaggerate that. Generally speaking, it's a horrible class in terms of difficulty. I didn't study much for that one. In fact, I only looked at a practice final after the first final that I had today, and so from about 11:30 until 1 p.m. That's when I did my first bits of practice, just like looking at practice finals, trying to do that and all of that. It was difficult to like get through the exam. Difficult to the point where at some points I acknowledged that I wasn't going to make much progress. Just I could sit there and try and remember everything that I need to remember, try and process things, try and hold on to the things I'd learned during the semester, but I wasn't going to make much progress. And interestingly, the progress was moving so slow that during the exam I caught myself falling asleep. I had to catch myself like that kind of. And I think I have never experienced that during an exam. And I think, well, one definitely, like, I was a bit tired. I wasn't able to go to sleep yesterday, even though I went to bed at 11, but I wasn't able to fall asleep. So I ended up getting back up. I read the Bible a little bit. I watched through the videos again, and so about 2 a.m. once again I went to sleep. So another day of about 5 hours, 5.5 hours. So not very good, and I can imagine that could have impacted me as I was trying to like do these what's it called? As I was trying to do the exam. But it was so interesting because while I was doing it, this feeling of this is impossible came over me. Like I kept feeling like this, I am not going to make any progress with this. I don't know if I should continue trying. And that feeling kept coming. And I kept thinking, no, I should try. I should try. What would I? Interestingly enough, I was thinking, okay, if you don't try, like, oh, that's what you're gonna have to talk about in the evening. So you should try to like do something. Try to go beyond it. Try to go beyond where you are. Don't just say, oh, I gave up and I fell in and everything. But it really was difficult. It reminds me again of how much like sleep, rest, and all those things are needed. Even if you have the willpower to do what you want to do, like those things are vital, pivotal. And I just found myself, it was a really weird place. I guess it got me thinking like that feeling of giving up. When it's so interesting how often we want to give up, how often we want to stop when things aren't working out and we feel like we don't have any direction. And frankly, in that scenario, it was feasible to like not try, to not do much of the final and everything. Frankly, I did not make much progress on that final. My grade is probably going to be the worst on that final compared to the other two midterms. But I think it's just very interesting how there was this feeling of wanting to give up versus the feeling of having to keep going. Like in life, truly, we should always keep going. That's the reality. Always, always, we should keep going. But it becomes so easy at times to give up when you think things are not possible. And the question, that is the question. So, at what points do you give up when you think something is impossible? At what point is something actually impossible? Because if you think it's impossible, sure, like your mind is actually like if you think it's impossible, it's not going to go. But 90% of the time, things are not possible until we make them possible, until we try and work towards them. And I think that's something that it always comes here and there, like that whole thinking of like, is this possible? Should I be, am I able to achieve this? Am I able to go this far given my circumstance, given how I'm feeling? That's something I experience a lot. And it hinders me most of the time from doing actually what I need to do. And so I wonder like how many other people feel that way. And I wonder what people do when they are in that position. It's because for me it takes a loss of willpower to remind myself to drag myself back out of that scenario, to remind myself of what I believe as a Christian, to remind myself of what I believe even just from my experiences out of wisdom. It's so difficult to drag myself out of that place at times. And so I do wonder like how do people like it's back to the whole persevering. But what's the driver when people feel like giving up, what do they do? That's what I'm curious about. It's one thing to persevere and remember, like have your keep your gaze fixated on this thing and everything, and then you don't feel that like pressure to give up. But it's another thing when you just keep going. How exactly do you keep going? And where do you go to? Like that's a very interesting thing for me to think about. Anyway, 8 minutes in, trying to keep it once again under the 10-minute mark. Went to today. I went to Garment District. I didn't even know that existed in Cambridge, but pretty cool place. Thrifting and everything reminds me like over the summer I would want to. I am working a nice internship, is making a little bit of money, so I would like to buy some clothing and everything, just to continue along the lines of creating my style and creating like my palettes and everything. So hopefully that's something I get to do over the summer. I'm traveling tomorrow. I have to figure out how I'm going to pack and get everything ready. It's going to be a journey. And then hopefully tomorrow as well, we have the meeting with my professor. We'll see. There's a lot to do. Not much time to do it all, but only one way to find out, right? Anyway, day 4. Today's been a good day. I think I also spent a lot of time like completing all those things that I had to do that I've been putting off. The internship things, all the emails that come in. I have made my first LinkedIn post. That was very interesting. But I've done all these things, put them out of the way. Like I got to see the place that I'm staying at for over the summer. Things are looking very good. Um, so yeah, today was a good intentional day in that regard. It's a lot easier to do things when school's not going on and like you have the opportunity to think. But there's still progress to be made. I still do want to. I will keep saying it until I do something about it. Oh, also, yesterday I was feeling bad about not really like catching up with some of like the seniors that I haven't seen in a while. Well, I did. I mean, that's where I am right now. I'm catching up with one of the seniors, and so anyway, what was I saying? Yes, I will continue. I think the next thing, honestly, like I'm seeing progress in my life already just by making these things. The next thing, reading my Bible daily. I was gonna say responding to people, but reading my Bible. I want to make that something that I do consistently as well. All right, that's 10 minutes. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.